Right. With a friend, there's always the concern that they're going to get back together, or that's going to alienate you from the friend. Yes. We also get a lot of questions like this on the show in general, and sometimes I would especially kind of joke about it. We even had a saying that I would say, and it says bounce. Yeah. So we were used to taking that road, sort of, but usually it was in a much more lighthearted way, where this one, I don't think. And not intimate. Yeah. Not like a personal, because you didn't know they were emailing, right? No, I was clueless. Yeah. That's really interesting to me now, because we run everything by each other, and we're now podcasting full time together, and I just cannot imagine a world now where I would be doing this and not talking to you about it. But I think our lives were a little bit more separate back then. You know, the babies and sure, yeah. I don't know. Huh, that's interesting. I just don't like email. What? I also just don't like email. But, well, I wasn't asking you to field the emails or anything. I was like, you were like doing all these emails. Like, I would never see them. I guess you're saying you would share it with me. But yeah, I'd say, look what this girl that we talked about in the podcast is. I actually, this is crazy. Yeah, it was a big swing, and things get complicated from here, even more so. I stand by this, though. Interesting. If you're starting a relationship, yeah, and it is this hard, and this is advice my sister gave me in previous relationships, it shouldn't be this hard. Right. At this juncture, when you're just starting out and it feels really hard, I don't think that is a good foundation to build a long-term relationship on. I think you could also argue that this type of show, seeking advice for that, in many of these cases, people are going outside of their friends because they kind of want to hear the real deal. Yeah, so that makes sense. Just not to like put you on the spot, but I do wonder, do you think you kind of liked that it was just yours? Yeah. Well, I think I did feel like, I was probably the only kind of big sister voice, and she seemed to be leaning very heavily on me and what I thought through this, and I think Andy's right, she probably didn't have lots of other, it seemed like I was the go-to, and so, once again, I do feel like at this point in my life, that probably felt empowering to me, and I also had 2 little babies, right, and I wonder if it was also, like, me feeling very motherly and almost practicing feeling motherly. Sure, yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure that clearly I was getting something out of it, because I was engaging in these, spending so much of my time, communicating with her, worrying about her, when I wasn't emailing, checking in on her, it was... So you were preoccupied by it? Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna email this person back, because that's a distinction to me, sort of. That's why I'm saying, like, now, I'm preoccupied with literally anything, the stupidest shit. I'm saying to you, hey, I had this interaction at school drop-off, and it's, like, spinning in my head. Yeah. So it's interesting to me that I wasn't bringing it to you. And it's also, like, it's probably hard to know, we would be speculating that if there was a part of you that felt that you shouldn't tell me back then, or now, like it is, yeah. Hard to know, revisionist history. Yeah. But she obviously did want, your advice was taken happily by her, because she continues to email you. So I'm going to hop into the next interaction, the next email she sent you. Okay. She says, I was hoping you could do me a crazy favor. Could you just take a look at one of my galleries? There are lots more pictures than this, but they never got more explicit or sexual than this. I've never asked someone to look at my pictures before, and I really need a sane, reasonable person who isn't too close to me or trying to sleep with me to take a look and tell me, did I do something much worse than I thought? I'm begging. Please be honest. I thought that people would be able to completely accept this, but right now I'm so desperate that I settle for just being forgiven. I always knew these pictures might offend some people, but I never thought they'd make me unfit to be a wife. I feel so weird asking someone to look at these, but I'm so upset right now. Maybe I'm just going crazy. If you do look at these, please let me know what you think. I need to start asking for people's forgiveness. I just don't understand what's happening, and it's breaking my heart. And then she sent the link to one of her photos. Did you look at the pictures? I did. And did you tell Andy? Did you share it with him? No. How are you telling me to look at the pictures? Kind of icky, honestly. Like, I guess I didn't know. I guess she said she wanted me to see them basically to say they're not that bad. Right. You must have felt that you had to, no matter what, say that. And they weren't. I mean, I don't, but then also getting into what is that bad? Right. So it kind of put me in this weird position of being like, they're fine, but they're gorgeous. Not fine, Exactly. But can you, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10? Yes. 10 being, like, fully naked. Yeah. Close up. And touching. Okay, that's 10. Okay. And then 1 is in underwear. Lingerie. Wait. Where was it? 2 to 3. Oh. It was mostly lingerie. Yeah. So I felt a little pinned down, and I think I kind of wish I hadn't really looked at it, because it doesn't matter, and I wish I had just come out and said, I don't need to check these out, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And then I think she kind of started to spiral about having sent them to me. There's kind of no world in which you couldn't have checked them out, though, right? Like, I understand what you're saying, that response would have probably been more appropriate. Well, because you would have clicked the link no matter what, probably, right? Yeah, I wish I just told her I hadn't looked, but I mean, obviously I was looking. Who would not look? At this point, you're in a relationship with her. I mean, at this point, you guys are emailing back and forth minutes apart. Yeah, okay. Before you hop into the email, because I was thinking about this last night. Would you qualify yourself as a codependent person? No. Okay. It's so funny you say that, because I was talking to someone I was working with a couple days ago about this. I don't even think I really understand what it is. Can you guys explain it to me? Yes. So, codependency is different than interdependency, because interdependency is a good thing. It's like what we need to live in relationships and rely on one another. But codependency is most often common in addiction and partners of addicts, where basically the codependent person, the person in the relationship, is really only okay if their partner is okay. Oh. And the addict almost becomes zero on the day. I am one, for sure. And, we're very open on Twitter, so I feel comfortable talking about it, but when I felt like Dax was relapsing, which was, my whole day was spent thinking about it, kind of pulling it apart, looking at him, identifying it, asking, are you okay, what's going on? It became my whole identity. So you're consumed with their kind of reality, or that's not a great way of putting it. You're adopting their struggle. Exactly. And it becomes this need to fix the person and be the person that can fix the like angry, and I'm just asleep probably. Well, no, I'm not angry. I just know until we are kind of back at equilibrium, I'm not going to feel at ease with things. Whereas I think that you could move on, or you can compartmentalize better for me. I mean, I was emailing her back 5 minutes. I was clearly consumed by this, and I think it was more that I felt a responsibility because I realized, oh, I've now become a part of the twists and turns that her life has taken, and it hasn't gone well. Right. And you feel a part of that in some way. Yeah. All right, so let's hop back into where we left off email-wise. So after you saw the pictures, there are a few emails before you responded saying you saw the pictures. Yes. So she's spiraling out. Yes, she's spiraling out because then she says, I hope this goes without saying, I don't really care if it's easy anymore, but please don't mention my real name in connection with them. If that became any more widely known than it is, I don't have a future as a porn star or a trophy wife or something. And I know I'd ask you something insane. I really am that desperate, though. Oh, I'm so sorry, clearly I'm having a hard time right now, but those last messages were so inappropriate. I'm truly sorry. So she also, even if you were thinking, oh, maybe I just let this go, you can't. I mean, she's desperate. Okay. How much time is elapsing? All of these emails are on the same day. 4:44, 4:47, 7:22. Okay, 7:40, same day. Elizabeth responds. That's really painful exercise. This is me writing back to her at 7:40 p.m. Hey, lady. Oh my God, do not worry about it at all. Okay, my first thought was that I truly did not need to check out your photos to know how I feel about this entire situation, which remains that no matter what is happening in these photos, you were just you being nude in your own body and having some sexy pictures taken by your own choice to make some money. And there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself at all. Then curiosity got the best of me, and I did check it out. And what the fuck is wrong with people? I mean, these are so harmless in my opinion, and do not even scratch the surface of anything to feel ashamed of. We see more lewd photos on the daily just from regular advertisements all over the place. Honestly, all you see, I hate myself right now. All you see that is considered taboo are your nipples. I feel very strongly that everyone needs to get over seeing a naked boob. I'm sorry, not to laugh at this, but I'm laughing at me. In parentheses, more thoughts on that here. And then I linked to a Cosmopolitan article I read about public breastfeeding shaming. That you wrote? Yeah. Never miss an opportunity to self-promote. You never know. You never know. I'm horrified. Okay, I've probably done far more shocking things publicly than this several times over. Haha. I honestly am so upset for you that these photos of all things are what is causing you so much pain and grief. I truly hope you understand that from the perspective of an outsider, these people are all a bunch of judgmental, holier-than-thou assholes who probably have far worse skeletons in their own closets. If they feel entitled to shame someone so ridiculously for something so benign. I'm not sure what's going on with you and your fiancé, but if he's still shaming you just because his family is, I would honestly bounce. Oh, wow. What a big swing. Keep me posted. And now I'm starting to sign off my emails with Excel. Okay, how? I'm just curious. Again, there's so much very good, thoughtful stuff in there. I don't know if I agree with the bounce stuff. Yeah. But that being said, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about it, because I do think there's so much thoughtful stuff in that. But I think that response is appropriate on the podcast, like us answering on the show, which oftentimes we did stuff like that. I think it takes on a completely different character when it's a private email with someone that you don't really know that well. Yeah, I think it has so much more weight. There's a difference